Hey awesome people, we're back with the dice part 2. Now I'm hoping that you actually had a crack at doing those last few sides and numbers, but you know what, if it got all too much, I hope you just closed it off without, you know, like you saved it as a dice first and then you closed it off. We didn't go through how to save. You guys are smart, I'm sure you worked it out. How do we find that dice then if we're coming back to doing it again? Well, there's a few different ways, as always, but if we click on up here the home button, you'll see that it actually brings us up to this screen here, and you know, you've got folders where you're hiding things, and it's also got recent documents. These are other things that I've been playing around with, and you've got your options for part assembly and drawing here as well. But what we want to do is we want to go to the dice. So if we just click on that bottom arrow there and click open, the dice will open. So we're working on numbers 3, 5 and 6. All right, 6 is probably, we haven't gone through that because, you know, it's got it's not going to work with those 4 diagonal lines, but 3 and 5 will. So let's smash out 3 and 5, and then we'll do 6 together as well. Now I can either use my view orientation button here and work out which sides I haven't drawn on yet, or let's just say, for example, I want to draw on this side, but I can't quite get it exactly spot on. What I can do is if I click and this little pop-up happens again, I can select this little button here. It's like a blue platform with a black arrow pointing up and it says normal to, and if I left click on that, see how it just snaps it into the front straight on. It's a beautiful thing. Now this is selected obviously because it's blue. If I clicked out in the graphics area here, it goes grey, it's not selected, so I would get that yellow, it's not an error message, but it's just a yellow alert saying, hey, you know, tell me what you want to draw on. Let's just select that there. Then go up to my sketch ribbon and select my sketch button, and what did I say we were going to do? Number 3. So number 3 is basically one straight diagonal with 3 holes. So let's grab our center line tool, and it doesn't really matter whether you go there and down or there and there, either way. We're going to left click in that orange dot there, we're going to come straight through the center, down to the opposite corner and left click, and here it is still attached. I'm going to double click and it's gone, or escape on your keyboard. Now we have 3 circles to draw. We know we want the first one to be right in the center, so let's get our circle tool up here and let's come down here and let's click on that orange dot in the middle and draw a circle outwards, and let's come somewhere up here, click on a dot and circle, and somewhere down here click on there and circle. I'm going to green tick out of the circle option there, and you can see I've got one circle already highlighted light blue. So again, I've got my little control finger here, and I'm going to hold the control button down on my keyboard, and I'm going to left click to select these other 2 circles. And if you remember from the 4 dots over here, we've got the equal relationship, so we want to make all these circles equal, so I'm going to click that button, and now I'm just going to green tick, and now it doesn't matter if I hold my mouse button over one circle and drag it, you can see all of them change size. But we want these circles to be 25 millimeters in diameter, so I'm going to grab the Smart Dimension tool, hover over any one of those 3 circles and left click to get my dimension box. Left click again so that I can type something in, so 25, and I just press enter on my keyboard. Now we may or may not need to play with this distance dimension here, but we'll see what happens. And you'll notice this middle circle is actually black, so that means that it's dimensioned and it's actually already locked to that center point, that origin. But the other 2, they don't know where they're sitting. I'm just going to green tick out of the dimension here, and you'll notice if I hover over that dot and hold my left mouse button on it, I can slide it up and down this line. So basically it's underdefined because it doesn't know where it's sitting. So I'm going to grab my Smart Dimension tool again, and I'm going to select that dot in the middle. I'm going to select that dot on the top, and bring that up. Now, I think with the 2 and the 4, we did it 35 millimeters in. I'm okay with that. That looks alright. So we'll do that. We'll stick with the 35 millimeters. So let's do the same, and you'll notice that circle's now turned black because it's defined. It has its space. Alright, it's been told where it needs to sit. We'll do the same thing with this bottom one. So we're going to click on that dot and click on that dot, bring that dimension up, make that 35 and press enter. Boom, that circle turns black as well. Down in the bottom here, it says fully defined. Beautiful, that's exactly what we want. Now we're going to extrude cut these circles in by 2 millimeters. So we're going to go up to the features tab here. We're going to choose extrude cut. Now because we've gone away from the dice and we've come back to the dice, the software automatically defaults to 10 millimeters as a dimension. So that's easy. Where it's already highlighted blue, so we can just put in our number and away we go. So if I just press 2 on my keyboard and press enter, I've changed that to 2 millimeters deep, and if I spin this around a little bit, you can see that it's only going in nice and shallow, and I'm going to green tick. So it's pretty straightforward. Alright, so that's the 3. Let's do the 5. Now let's do the 5 on this surface. So again, I'm going to click here and I'm going to go to this normal 2 button. Boom, right there. It's already selected blue. Let's create our sketch and select our sketch button. And let's get our centerline tool. And this time we want the crossovers, all right? Because it's ideally like the 4, but with a dot in the middle. So let's click from there down to there and double click out there. And then from the top down to there and double click out there. So I've got my lines that are crossed over, and now we're going to get our circle tool. Now there is a patterning tool, but I'm not going to work with that just yet. That's more of your intermediate sort of level. So let's get our cursor. Let's start in the middle here, find that little dot. So it doesn't really turn orange, but it kind of does, but you know you're in the middle because if you have a look, I would point to my computer screen, but there's a bit of a waste. I'm going to click in the middle there and I'm going to draw one circle. On this orange line, I'm going to draw another circle. And we're just going to make our way around to draw those circles. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. What's it called? Official love. Boom. Let's green tick out of the circle. We've got one already selected, so let's make them equal in relationship. So control finger, control button, run around, left click, selecting all those circles. And then over here is the equal button. Click that. Now all circles are equal. So we're going to green tick. Now, again, I could get a little bit more confused. Well, I'm not confused, but I could be confusing. Let's dimension this first. So up on the sketch ribbon, let's select our sketch smart dimension. And we're going to go around and we only need to dimension one of these because every other one will change. So let's click that and change that to 25. Boom. Every single one. If I try to dimension it, it's going to say, hey, hang on a minute. We're equal in relationship. You can't change me. So I cancel that. Now you'll notice as soon as we made the dimension set, the middle button, again, the middle circle turned black. When we now need to define the distance of all these 4 circles. Yes, there's an easier way to do this, but I want you to get used to dimensioning. So let's go. Center dot, outside dot, up on the angle, 35. do this all the way around. And you'll notice as you're getting it done, those circles are turning black, which means they are becoming defined. And last one here. Boom. Alright, and you know it. Now we've got our 5 circles. We want to cut them in, or we want to take material away. So let's go to Features, Extruded Cut. Now because we're running on, you know, in the same time frame, the system's automatically picked up the last time we did the dimension of 2 millimeters. So we're going to leave that there and green tick. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Alright. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats. We've got the last one to do, the number 6. So, let's do this. Click on this surface. Let's select the normal 2 button. Now, we could... Just trying to think of an easy way for you, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to work through this. Let's, Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go to our sketch tab to open up the ribbon. We're going to choose our sketch button. We're going to get our center line tool. And what we're going to do is, we're going to do it this way. There's so many different ways you can do things. We're going to do it this way. All right, if you have already done the 6 holes and you did it a different way, totally cool. Drop a comment in the comments below and just say, yeah, I actually did it a different way. I did it like this. And your way might help somebody else. But let's just keep with the theme of these dotted center lines. Let's go from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. Now we want to run one right through the middle here. So we're going to find that little origin point. We're going to click. We're going to draw a nice straight line. Now you'll notice it's a straight line because we've followed the reference line. And also at the end of the pencil cursor, where the rubber normally is on the end of the pencil cursor, there's a yellow box and it's got like a little horizontal line in it. So that tells us it's horizontal as well. So we're going to just draw that line, come away and double click. And you're going, oh my god, what is she doing? Let's draw 4 circles first. So let's get those circles. Let's draw as though we're doing the number 4. So I've got my 4 circles there. I'm going to green tick out of that. One is already selected. I'm going to hold my control button down. I'm going to go and select all of these ones and make them equal. And I'm going to smart dimension one of them 25. Okay, with me so far. Let's go around and make these guys just like we were doing with the number 4. Let's go around and we'll make them 35. Now, we may or may not get away with these dimensions, so we're just trying to keep it as uniform as possible to avoid confusion. Now what I want you guys to do is I want you to come back up to where the line tool was, and I want you to select your center line tool again. And this time you're going to go from the middle of the circle down to the bottom of the other one. Now it came up with a bit of an error message. I just clicked OK and I'm going to double click to get rid of that line. I'm going to do the same down here. Again, comes up with a bit of an error message. You can say don't show me again, but we're just going to say OK and I'm going to come over here. Now the reason why it's coming up with that error message is it's like saying, well, I'm already horizontal because we've set dimensions, blah blah blah. It's confusing. You don't need to worry about it. Trust me. But what we are going to do now is we're doing 6 dots, so we need another 2 dots to circles, don't we? So let's get our circle tool. This time we're going to go right in the middle there where those... Oh, this is going to be tight. I think we're going to have to change the dimension of our circle, because if I make these 2 circles 25, look, too close. So I think we need to make number 6 side. Let's make these. Now all we have to do over here is see where this is the 25mm one that changes all those other 4. So what we're going to do is all I've done is I've held my left mouse button over the number. So that's why I can move it. I'm holding my mouse button and moving. We're going to change this 25 to 23. So double click on the 25 and you get that box come up again. Let's type in 23. And you'll notice all 4 circles have changed. Let's go to this last one here. It's still blue, so it means it hasn't been defined yet. Let's click and make that 23. Now if I green tick out of the dimensions, you'll see all circles are now black. My puppy is at the window scratching. It says fully defined down here. Let's make that happen. Let's go features, extruded cut. It's registering 2mm. Green tick. Bada boom. And there's your 6. It's not spaced out as nice as what we could make it, but you know, let's face it, you know, there's a lot more dots on there, so we could play around with it. We could space it out better if we wanted to. We could change that 35mm thing, just to make it simple right now. That's what we've got. Now all dice have a nice smooth edge, so we're going to play with one more feature, 3-dimensional feature. Alright, so we're on the features ribbon here. If we actually move ourselves along a little bit, about halfway, you'll see there is what's called a fillet, and as it says, it creates rounded internal or external faces along one or more edges. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, let's have a look. If we left click to select it, now there's lots of options here. We're just going to go a la simple. So this very first one here, it's selected. It says constant size. That's all we want selected. We're not going to bother with these other ones just yet. This blue box says, what do you want to fillet? Okay, now the next question is, depending on what you've got below this blue box, you want these first 2 boxes ticked. If you have a dot in the no preview or in the partial preview, what I want you to do is I want you to left click on full preview, so full preview is highlighted. The next thing we're going to do, we're just going to leave this as symmetric at the moment, and I want you to just change this 10mm at the moment. We may change this around a little bit later, but I want you to change that to 3 and press enter on the keyboard. Now nothing's happened at the moment because we haven't selected the edges we want to fillet. What I want you to do now is I want you to come over to the dice, and not this whole area. See how you get a faint orange outline around everything? We don't want the surface. What we want is that bright orange line, which is called the edge. So we're going to left click on the edge. Now you'll see it's popped up a bit of a preview. Another thing popped up as well, but keeping it simple. So I want you to go around, ignore that other box that's popping up, and every edge, I want you to select it. Now if you happen, now I'm just holding my scroll wheel down and spinning this around. If you accidentally happen to click a surface, no biggie, okay, it's all good. But you can just left click on it again and it will deselect. Okay, so it does get a little bit confusing sometimes because you think, oh, I've got everything selected, but as you spin it around you'll notice, there's not a yellow preview on this one yet, so I better select that. And if I have a look down here, there's no yellow preview on this one, so I'll select that. Okay, so I've got that. Now, look, it's got a face selected, and I know it's a face selected because it's blue, so I'm just going to click on it to deselect it and make sure I just click that edge. Alright, cool beans. Done. Now, I want you to green tick that. You'll notice here on the left hand side, this is called our feature manager tree, and it is exactly like that. It's a tree where as we build and continue to grow our design, it's like it's growing leaves, you know, it's growing steps and stages, and at any stage we can go back to them and change them and edit them. So if I hover over one, it will highlight what it actually features. Now just say for example, I'm not happy with that fillet. I think it could be bigger, could be more rounded. So what I'm going to do is over here on the left hand side, you'll see it says fillet. I'm going to hold my cursor over the little icon. Sometimes if you're a bit slow in your mouse movements and you hold it over the word, it then goes into like editing the name. So let's hold it over the icon and let's right click on the icon, and there's a little pop-up box here. Ignore at the moment all of these words. We're interested in the pictures. I rather read cartoons than books because I like the pictures. So the very first icon here says edit feature. So if we left click that, we are back into our features box. Alright, and what I want to do is I'm just going to scroll, and where I had 3mm, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put in 5 and press enter. And notice it will make that fillet a bit bigger. I'm kind of happy with that. So now I'm happy with that. I'm going to green tick. And that is it for our dice. Okay, well, it's not. We're going to come back and do a few more things, but I want that to be it for those 3 numbers. Okay, so let's make sure that we save. So I'm going to go click on the drop down. I'm going to go save to this PC. You can do Control S if you've already saved it before, and it's now saved. If we want to close that off, there's 2 ways to close off Solidworks. One is to actually just close off the part that you're designing, which is inside this big area here. It's called the graphics area, so it's inside there. There's a little X to close it. If you're wanting to shut Solidworks down completely, like you're finished with it for the day and you want to shut it down, then you click this X up the top. So don't forget, for some more amazing CAD stuff, please like and subscribe and continue watching.